Folks, here's a truth most men never hear. When a woman lets you touch a certain part of her body, the decision was already made long before that moment. Most men are confused because they think attraction is about bold moves. They wait for green lights, big signals, or clear permission. Meanwhile, women operate on something completely different. Trust first, comfort second, permission last. And by the time touch happens, the emotional door was already open. You've probably been there. She seems close, relaxed, even playful. But you're not sure what it means. You don't want to cross a line. You don't want to misread the moment. So you hesitate, overthink, or do nothing at all. And later, you're left wondering what you missed. I'm not here to sugarcoat this. I'm here to wake you up. Touch is never just physical. It's psychological. It's about which boundaries she allows you past and which ones stay locked. And there's one specific form of touch that signals something far deeper than attraction. It signals trust, safety, and emotional surrender. In this video, I'm going to break down how women think about touch, why certain contact means nothing at all, and why one specific kind of touch changes everything. Not from manipulation, not from guessing, but from understanding female psychology the right way. If you grasp this, you stop chasing signals and start reading reality. Let's get into it. Number 1. Touch is permission. Folks, let's clear something up right away. Touch is never just touch. When a woman allows certain forms of contact, she is not reacting in the moment. She is confirming a decision her mind and body already made. Touch is permission, not initiation. Most men misunderstand this because they think touch creates attraction. It doesn't. Touch reveals attraction that already exists. Women decide internally first, then their body follows. If that internal decision hasn't happened, touch feels intrusive. If it has happened, touch feels natural. Let's talk real life. Chris is 53, living in San Diego. He's spending time with Amanda, 45. During conversation, Chris casually places his hand on the back of a chair near her, not on her. Later, as they stand up, Amanda brushes past him and lets her arm rest briefly against his. She doesn't pull away. That moment didn't start attraction. It confirmed comfort and permission that was already there. Now compare that to another man who tries to make a move. Same setting, same age range. He reaches too directly, too intentionally. Amanda shifts away. The difference isn't confidence, it's timing. Permission wasn't granted. My friend, women give permission in layers. Emotional comfort comes first, then physical proximity, then specific forms of touch. Each layer signals trust. Skip a layer and the body reacts defensively. Another example, Brian is 58, living in Chicago. He's walking with Lisa, 47. As they cross the street, Brian lightly places a hand near her elbow to guide her. Lisa doesn't tense. She stays close. That small allowance tells Brian something important. She trusts his presence. That trust is the gatekeeper. Here's the part men miss. Women are not evaluating where you touch. They are evaluating how it feels to let you there. Does it feel safe? Does it feel calm? Does it feel unforced? Those answers matter more than location. Touch that feels earned never needs explanation. Touch that feels rushed always does. Women read intention through pressure. If your touch asks for something, it feels wrong. If it responds to the moment, it feels right. Notice this. When permission exists, she doesn't monitor the touch. She doesn't brace. She doesn't think about it. Her body stays open. When permission doesn't exist, even light contact feels loud. Another situation. Michael is 55, living in Arizona. He notices that when he stays relaxed and present, Julia, 42, initiates small contact herself. She sits closer. She leans in. That's permission being offered, not requested. Men who understand this don't chase touch. They allow it to happen. They watch reactions. They respect space. That patience is attractive because it signals control. Stoic wisdom aligns perfectly here. Control yourself, not the outcome. When you don't need touch to validate you, women feel safer offering it. Touch is not a strategy, it's a signal. And when that signal appears, the decision was already made. If this makes sense to you, write this in the comments. I read permission. Stay with me. The next part breaks down why trust always comes before desire and how women quietly test that first. Number 2. Trust comes first. Folks, this is where most men lose the plot. They think attraction leads to trust. In reality, trust comes first. Without it, desire never settles. It stays defensive, hesitant, and fragile. And when trust isn't there, touch, no matter how light, feels wrong. Let's be straight about this. Women don't experience trust as a logical checklist. They experience it as a bodily response. Their nervous system decides before their mind catches up. When trust is present, the body relaxes. When it's absent, the body guards itself. Every form of touch passes through that filter first. Trust is built through consistency, not effort. A man who is steady, predictable in character, and calm in uncertainty creates a baseline of safety. That safety is what allows desire to breathe. Without it, attraction stays locked behind caution. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions. If your ambition is to control outcomes, women feel pressure. If your ambition is self-command, women feel ease. Ease is the soil where trust grows. Here's what women are really watching. Do you respect boundaries without resenting them? Do you stay the same man when interest appears and when it fades? Do you react emotionally when things slow down? These moments answer one question for her. Can I relax around him? Trust comes from emotional predictability, not boredom, not passivity. Predictability of character. Your tone stays even, your attention stays present, your reactions stay measured. That tells her she doesn't have to manage your emotions. Most men fail here because they confuse trust with being agreeable. They over-accommodate. They explain themselves too much. They seek reassurance. That behavior doesn't create trust. It creates responsibility. And when a woman feels responsible for a man's emotional state, desire shuts down. Stoicism addresses this directly. Epictetus taught that freedom begins when we stop needing external approval. When you don't need validation, your presence becomes lighter. Women feel that lightness as safety. Another hard truth. Trust isn't built by time alone. It's built by how you handle friction, small disagreements, awkward pauses, unclear moments. If you remain grounded during those, trust deepens quickly. If you become reactive, trust collapses fast. Women often test trust without realizing it. They pull back slightly, they delay responses, they shift energy, not to manipulate but to see what happens. A man who stays calm passes the test without knowing one existed. Trust also comes from restraint. When you don't push physical closeness before it's offered, you show respect for her internal pace. That restraint is not weakness, it's confidence. Confidence says, I don't need to rush this. Seneca warned that impatience is a sign of inner poverty. When you are not starving for outcomes, your energy changes. Women feel that change immediately. Here's the key takeaway. Trust is not something you ask for, it's something she feels. And once she feels it, touch stops being a question and starts being a natural extension of comfort. If this lands for you, write this in the comments. I build trust first. Stay right here. What comes next will clarify why some forms of contact mean absolutely nothing, while others change everything. Number 3. Casual contact means nothing. Folks, this is where many men completely misread the situation. Casual contact does not equal desire. A woman brushing past you, hugging you hello, or touching your arm while laughing means nothing by itself. If you don't understand this, you will read signals that aren't there and miss the ones that actually matter. Let's be clear. Women touch people all the time for social reasons. It's polite, it's friendly, it keeps interactions smooth. That kind of contact carries no permission, no invitation, and no hidden message. When a man mistakes casual contact for attraction, he exposes insecurity, and insecurity kills tension. Here's a real example. Kevin is 51, living in Phoenix. He works with Rachel, 43. Rachel hugs Kevin when she greets everyone at the office. She touches his arm when she jokes. Kevin starts thinking there's something more. He leans in, escalates emotionally, and the dynamic shifts. Rachel pulls back. What happened? Kevin confused social comfort with desire. Now contrast that with a different situation. Thomas is 56, living in Nashville. He meets Erin, 47, through friends. Erin is warm and friendly, but Thomas doesn't assume anything. He stays relaxed. He doesn't react to light contact. Over time, Erin becomes more intentional. She stands closer. She touches and waits. That difference matters. Thomas reads behavior, not hope. My friend, casual contact is automatic. Meaningful contact is selective. Women know the difference instinctively. When you don't, you signal that you're guessing instead of reading reality. Here's the key distinction. Casual contact happens without awareness. Intentional contact happens with awareness. One is reflex, the other is choice. Women feel that difference immediately. Another example. Paul is 58, divorced, living in New Jersey. He notices that during conversations, Lisa, 45, touches many people casually. Paul doesn't respond. He doesn't lean in. Later, Lisa starts touching only Paul during pauses. She watches his reaction. That shift is not accidental. That's where meaning begins. Men who don't understand this react too early. They speed things up. They push clarity. They change their energy. Women sense that pressure and shut things down. Stoic wisdom applies here. Control your interpretation, not her behavior. When you stay grounded and neutral, you allow patterns to reveal themselves. When you jump to conclusions, you distort the signal. Another mistake men make is pulling away completely after realizing casual contact means nothing. That's also wrong. Indifference is not awareness. Awareness means staying present without assigning meaning too soon. Casual contact is noise. Patterns are signal. One touch means nothing. Repeated intentional touch that creates pause means everything. Women don't escalate physically by accident. They test reaction first. When you remain unchanged by casual contact, you communicate strength. You show that you don't need small gestures to feel chosen. That restraint creates space for something real to develop. Here's the truth. Women feel safer exploring desire with men who don't rush interpretation. Safety allows attraction to shift from friendly to intentional. If this hits home, write this in the comments. I read patterns. Don't go anywhere. What comes next explains which kind of contact actually changes the dynamic and why most men overlook it. Number 4. Hands reveal comfort. Folks, this is one of the clearest indicators women use, and most men overlook it because it feels too subtle. Hands reveal comfort, not attraction in theory, not interest in conversation, but bodily permission. When a woman is comfortable with your hands near hers, around hers, or briefly connected to hers, something important has already shifted. Let's be real for a moment. Hands are not neutral. They are sensitive, expressive, and personal. They carry tension, intention, and awareness. Women know this instinctively. That's why hands are one of the last places where comfort shows up honestly before anything overt ever happens. Here's the distinction you need to understand. A woman may tolerate proximity. She may tolerate conversation. She may even tolerate casual contact. But comfort with hands signals trust at a deeper level. Hands mean coordination. Hands mean response. Hands mean vulnerability. When she allows that space without stiffness or withdrawal, her body is saying yes to something internal. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the body obeys the mind when the mind is in order. When a woman's body remains relaxed around your hands, it reflects inner order, not confusion. That order does not come from words. It comes from how safe and grounded you feel to her. Men often misinterpret this because they think hands are insignificant. They are not. Hands are where intention is felt most clearly. A man whose hands are calm, steady, and unhurried communicates control. A man whose hands fidget, rush, or seek reaction communicates anxiety. Women feel that difference immediately. Another Stoic reminder applies here. Epictetus said that what disturbs us is not events, but our judgments about them. When a man stays neutral and present around moments of light hand contact, he shows mastery over interpretation. That mastery feels attractive because it removes pressure. Here's where men usually fail. They either freeze the moment or exploit it. They notice the hand contact and suddenly change. Their energy spikes. Their attention narrows. That shift is felt instantly, and comfort collapses. Comfort survives only when you remain the same man before, during, and after the moment. Hands also reveal patience. When you are not rushing, not holding on longer than the moment allows, not testing limits, you show restraint. Restraint signals confidence. Confidence allows comfort to deepen naturally. Women are constantly scanning for signs that a man can regulate himself. Hands give that away faster than words ever could. Calm hands suggest calm intimacy. Restless hands suggest restless desire. One feels safe, the other feels demanding. Seneca warned that uncontrolled desire makes slaves of us all. When your hands are not driven by need, they become reassuring rather than invasive. Women associate that with a man who understands timing and respect, both of which are essential for real attraction. Another important point: comfort with hands is mutual. When a woman adjusts her hand to meet yours rather than pulling away or stiffening, that is not accidental. It means her body is participating, not just allowing. That participation is where things quietly change. This is why men who chase reactions lose ground. The moment you look for confirmation, comfort turns into evaluation. When you let the moment pass naturally, comfort often returns stronger the next time. If this resonates, write this in the comments. I stay composed. Stay right here. What comes next will change how you see closeness entirely. And folks, if you want to build this level of self-control and awareness, consistently consider joining the channel membership. Inside, we go deeper into these dynamics. With practical guidance, you can actually apply without games or confusion. Number 5. Proximity changes everything. Folks, this is where attraction quietly shifts from abstract to physical without anyone saying a word. Proximity is not about being close. It's about how closeness feels. When a woman chooses to stay near you, not because the room is crowded, but because she wants to, something important has already changed. Let's be straight about it. Distance is a boundary. When she controls that boundary and moves it closer, she's signaling comfort and curiosity. When you control it by stepping in too fast, you trigger defense. Proximity only works when it's chosen, not imposed. Here's a real situation. Ethan is 54, living in Minneapolis. He's at a small gathering with friends when he meets Natalie, 46. At first, there's space between them. Over time, Ethan stays relaxed and still. He doesn't lean in. He doesn't adjust his position to chase closeness. Natalie does. She stands a little nearer. She angles her body toward him. When someone walks past, she doesn't step away. She stays. That choice tells Ethan more than words ever could. Now, contrast that with another scenario. Ron is 52, same setting, similar conversation. As soon as he senses interest, he steps closer. He narrows the space. Natalie instinctively shifts back. Nothing dramatic, just enough. Ron thinks he's being confident. In reality, he took control of a boundary that wasn't offered. Proximity collapsed. My friend, women read proximity as a test of patience. Can this man let closeness develop without forcing it? Can he remain composed while space changes naturally? That patience feels safe. Safety allows attraction to grow. Another example. Carlos is 58, divorced, living in San Jose. He's walking with Michelle, 49, after dinner. As they talk, Michelle gradually slows her pace to match his. Their shoulders drift closer. Carlos doesn't react. He doesn't comment. He simply stays present. Michelle relaxes further. That moment works because Carlos didn't rush to claim it. Proximity is also about orientation. When she turns toward you, fully keeps her feet pointed your way, and stays inside your personal space without tension, her body is participating. Participation matters more than intention. Here's where men often fail. They think proximity is an invitation to escalate immediately. It's not. It's information. When you treat it as information, you stay grounded. When you treat it as permission to act, you add pressure. Pressure ends curiosity. Women associate comfortable proximity with how intimacy would feel. If closeness feels easy outside the bedroom, they imagine it would feel the same inside. If closeness feels managed or rushed, they imagine discomfort later. Another subtle detail. When a woman feels at ease near you, she doesn't keep adjusting. She doesn't fidget or create space. Her body settles. That settling is not accidental. It's her nervous system saying this feels okay. The strongest move here is doing less. Let her choose closeness. Let her test distance. Your job is to remain the same man, regardless of where she stands. Consistency creates trust. Trust invites desire. If this clicks for you, write this in the comments. I let space choose. Stay right here. The next part explains how deeper access is granted quietly and why missing that moment changes everything. Number 6. She allows deeper access. Folks, this is where things quietly cross a line most men never notice. Deeper access is not about what you touch. It's about what she allows you near. When a woman lets you into spaces that are usually guarded emotionally or physically, her trust has moved to another level. Let's be clear. Women protect access instinctively, not out of fear, but out of awareness. Certain zones are tied to vulnerability, identity, and emotional safety. When she stops guarding those areas around you, her body has already decided you're not a threat. Most men think access is granted because of attraction alone. That's not true. Attraction opens the door. Trust decides how far it opens. And trust is built by consistency, restraint, and emotional regulation. Stoic philosophy explains this perfectly. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a person's worth is shown in how they handle what is entrusted to them. When a woman allows deeper access, she is entrusting you with her comfort. How you handle that moment determines whether attraction deepens or collapses. Here's the mistake men make. They interpret deeper access as a green light to escalate immediately. They change their tone. They narrow their focus. They become outcome-driven. The moment they do that, access often shuts down. Why? Because permission was given for presence, not pressure. Deeper access shows up in subtle ways. She doesn't flinch when you're close. She doesn't adjust defensively. She allows you into her personal rhythm. That rhythm includes how she moves, how she pauses, how she relaxes. When you're allowed into that space without resistance, something important has already been decided. Epictetus taught that self-control is the foundation of freedom. When you remain self-controlled during moments of increased access, you signal that you can be trusted with more. Women test this unconsciously. They watch whether you become greedy for the moment or remain composed. Another key point. Deeper access is selective. She doesn't offer it to everyone. That's why it feels different. It's not dramatic, it's quiet, and quiet signals are always the most honest. Men often miss this because they're looking for confirmation instead of permission. Confirmation is verbal, permission is felt. When you wait for words, you miss the body's decision entirely. Stoicism reminds us to focus on what is within our control. You can't control when access is given. You can control how you respond. When you respond with calm, respect, and patience, access tends to expand naturally. Another truth: deeper access is reversible. If you mishandle it, it retreats. Women do not argue with their nervous system. If something feels off, the body closes first and explains later. That's why staying steady matters more than making a move. Men who succeed here don't rush intimacy. They understand that access unfolds in stages. They let each stage settle before moving forward. That patience signals maturity. Maturity feels safe. Safety allows desire to deepen instead of spike and vanish. Seneca warned that desire without discipline becomes self-defeating. When you don't need more in the moment, you often receive more later. That paradox is central to understanding attraction. Here's the core truth. When she allows deeper access, she's not inviting action, she's observing character. If your character holds steady, access becomes natural instead of fragile. If this makes sense to you, write this in the comments: I respect access. Let's keep going. The next part shows how one specific signal reveals emotional surrender and why missing it changes the entire dynamic. Number 7. This touch signals surrender. Folks, this is the moment where attraction stops negotiating and starts yielding. When this specific kind of touch appears, it is not accidental and it is not casual. It signals surrender, not weakness, not loss of control, emotional surrender. And that only happens when trust and desire have already aligned. Let's be clear. Surrender does not mean giving up power. It means her body no longer feels the need to guard itself around you. That shift is rare, and women do not offer it lightly. When it happens, it is one of the strongest indicators that she feels deeply safe and drawn to you at the same time. Here's a real example. Jonathan is 56, living in Northern California. He's been seeing Rebecca, 48, casually for weeks. One evening, as they're sitting side by side talking, Rebecca rests her head briefly against his shoulder. She doesn't announce it. She doesn't look for a reaction. She simply settles there, then later pulls away naturally. That moment wasn't about comfort alone. It was surrender. Her nervous system trusted Jonathan enough to let go. Now compare that to another scenario. Mark is 52, living in Chicago. He notices a woman lean in close during conversation, but she stays tense. Her body doesn't soften. She keeps adjusting. That closeness is proximity, not surrender. Mark misreads it and escalates. The connection fades. The difference is subtle but crucial. My friend, surrender always involves relaxation. The body releases tension. Movements slow down. There is no bracing, no checking, no anticipation of reaction. When a woman allows touch that places her in a slightly vulnerable position and her body stays calm, that is surrender. Another example. David is 59, divorced, living in Oregon. He's walking with Claire, 46, after dinner. At one point, Claire slips her arm loosely through his, not gripping, not leaning heavily, just resting there as they walk. David doesn't react. He keeps his pace steady. Claire relaxes even more. That moment works because David did not try to claim it. He respected it. Here's what men often miss. Surrender is offered, not taken. The moment you reach for it, it disappears. When you let it exist without exploiting it, it often returns stronger. Women use surrender touches as a test without realizing it. They want to know if you can handle closeness without urgency, if you can remain grounded when the door opens, if you can lead yourself before leading the moment. This kind of touch is deeply psychological. It tells her that she can be close without managing your expectations. That freedom is erotic because it removes pressure. Men who fail here do one of two things. They either freeze afraid to breathe, or they push forward trying to lock the moment in. Both break the spell. The right response is steadiness. You remain exactly who you were before the touch appeared. Another key point: surrender is temporary by nature. It comes and goes. Women watch how you respond when it leaves. If you chase it, it was never safe. If you stay calm, it returns when she feels ready. This is where Stoic discipline matters. Control your reaction, not the moment. When you don't cling to what feels good, you show strength. Strength invites surrender again. If you have experienced this kind of moment or want to be the man who can handle it, write this in the comments. I stay steady. Don't go anywhere. What comes next explains how this comfort becomes effortless and why forcing it never works. Number 8. It feels natural to her. Folks, this is the point where attraction stops feeling deliberate and starts feeling inevitable. When it feels natural to her, her body is no longer negotiating. It is no longer checking rules or weighing consequences. It simply responds, and that response tells you more than any words ever could. Let's be honest, nothing real feels forced. When something is right, it flows. Women trust that feeling deeply because it comes from the nervous system, not from logic. When touch, closeness, or intimacy feels natural to her, it means her body has accepted you as safe, familiar, and desired at the same time. This is where many men get confused. They think natural means easy. It does not. Natural means unforced. There is no internal resistance, no hesitation, no tightening. Her body stays relaxed. Her movements stay fluid. She does not brace or prepare herself. She simply is. Stoicism explains this well. Marcus Aurelius wrote that what is in accordance with nature carries no strain. When a woman feels no strain around you, her body is aligned, not conflicted. That alignment is where desire becomes calm instead of anxious. Here's the key insight. When something feels natural to her, she stops monitoring the interaction. She is no longer managing distance, timing, or reactions. She is present. Presence is the gateway to intimacy. Men often destroy this moment by trying to capitalize on it. They sense the ease and immediately push for more. That shift introduces effort. Effort introduces pressure. Pressure breaks the natural state. The irony is this: the moment you try to lock it in, you lose it. Natural attraction does not need reassurance. It does not need escalation. It does not need explanation. It needs continuity. You stay the same man you were before the moment appeared. Epictetus taught that we suffer not from events, but from our judgments about them. When you judge a natural moment as an opportunity you must seize, you introduce fear of loss. Fear changes your energy. Women feel that instantly. Another important point: natural attraction feels quiet. There is no rush, no urgency, no spike. Many men expect desire to feel intense and dramatic. Women experience true desire as smooth and steady. When it feels natural, she is not trying to convince herself. She already knows. This is also where consistency matters most. If you are grounded one moment and needy the next, the natural feeling collapses. Natural attraction depends on predictability of character. Not predictability of behavior, but of emotional stability. Stoic discipline supports this directly. Seneca warned that the man ruled by impulse cannot be trusted. When you are not ruled by impulse, your presence feels safe. Safety allows desire to relax into itself. Here's the mistake men repeat. They assume natural attraction means the work is done. In reality, it means the work shifts inward. Your job becomes restraint, awareness, patience. You protect the natural state by not disturbing it. When something feels natural to her, she is not asking herself questions. She is not evaluating you. She is not preparing an exit. She is simply there. That is rare, and rarity creates value. If you want to be the man who allows this state to exist without breaking it, write this in the comments. I don't force. Stay with me. What comes next explains how this ease turns into lasting attachment and why most men lose it at the final step. Number 9. She stops pulling away. Folks, this is one of the clearest shifts you'll ever see, and it's easy to miss if you're not paying attention. When a woman stops pulling away, her body is telling the truth before her words ever do. Pulling away is not rejection by default, it's regulation. And when that regulation disappears, something fundamental has changed. Let's be real for a second. Most women manage distance constantly. They lean back, they step aside. They create space after moments of closeness. Not because they're playing games, but because their nervous system is checking safety. When she no longer feels the need to create that space, it means comfort has settled in. Here's a real example. Anthony is 55, living in Scottsdale. He's been spending time with Karen, 47. Early on, Karen would lean in during conversation, then subtly shift back. Anthony didn't chase, he didn't comment, he stayed steady. A few weeks later, something changed. Karen stopped stepping back. She stayed where she was. That lack of movement was the signal. Her body no longer needed distance. Now compare that to another situation. Brian is 52, living in Cleveland. He notices similar pullbacks from a woman he likes and immediately tries to close the gap. He steps forward. He increases intensity. The pulling away increases. Why? Because he treated regulation as resistance instead of information. My friend, when she stops pulling away, it means her body trusts you to handle closeness without pressure. That trust is not built by moves, it's built by consistency. Another example, Mark is 58, divorced, living in Northern California. He's sitting next to Susan, 49, during a quiet moment. Earlier, Susan would adjust whenever their knees touched. Now she doesn't. She stays relaxed. Mark notices and does nothing. That nothing is exactly why the moment works. Here's the key point. Pulling away is a reflex. Not pulling away is a decision. And decisions come after safety. Men often ruin this moment by celebrating it internally and changing externally. They smile more. They lean in. They try to lock it down. That shift reintroduces pressure. Pressure brings back distance. Women watch what you do when closeness becomes available. Do you stay the same man, or do you become outcome-focused? Staying the same tells her she can remain close without managing you. Another detail worth noting, when she stops pulling away, she also stops monitoring exits. Her feet stay pointed toward you. Her body stays open. She doesn't prepare an excuse to move. That stillness is not accidental. This is also where patience matters most. She may stop pulling away one moment and resume later. That doesn't mean the connection is gone. It means regulation is still happening. Men who stay calm during that fluctuation are the ones who win long term. Here's the mistake. Men think closeness should be permanent once it appears. It doesn't work that way. Closeness breathes. Your job is to let it breathe. When you respect that rhythm, pulling away becomes unnecessary. And when it becomes unnecessary, desire feels safer expressing itself. If you recognize this pattern or want to become the man who allows it, write this in the comments. I stay patient. Stay right here. The final part ties all of this together and explains why understanding these signals changes everything. Number 10. Why this touch matters. Folks, this is where everything comes together. This touch matters because it isn't about skin location or boldness. It's about what has already happened internally. By the time a woman allows this level of contact, her nervous system has stopped questioning and started accepting. And acceptance is where real attraction lives. Let's be honest, most men focus on the action itself. They want to know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it right. But women don't experience attraction that way. They experience it as a process of relaxation. Step by step, layer by layer, their body decides whether it can let go. This specific touch matters because it appears only after that process is complete. At this point, the touch is no longer being evaluated. It's being felt. There is no internal debate, no silent checking, no need to create distance afterward. Her body remains calm before, during, and after the moment. That calm is the signal. What makes this touch so important is that it reflects emotional safety and desire at the same time, not one without the other. Desire without safety creates tension and withdrawal. Safety without desire creates comfort and stagnation. When both exist together, attraction stabilizes. This is why men who chase touch fail. They treat touch as a trigger instead of a result. They assume the right move will create the right feeling. In reality, the right feeling allows the move to exist without resistance. When you reverse that order, everything feels off. This touch also matters because it reveals something about you. It tells her you are a man who can handle closeness without urgency. You didn't force the moment. You didn't rush the process. You didn't need confirmation. That restraint is what allowed trust to deepen. There's another reason this matters. Once a woman's body associates you with calm and safety during closeness, that association tends to persist. Future moments feel easier, less guarded, less managed. The groundwork has already been laid. Men often sabotage this stage by changing who they are once they feel close. They become more intense, more focused on outcome, more attached to maintaining the feeling. That attachment introduces pressure. Pressure brings back distance. The men who succeed long-term understand this simple truth. Attraction is maintained the same way it is created. Through consistency of character, you stay grounded, you stay patient, you stay self-directed. You don't cling to moments. You let them come and go naturally. This touch matters because it is a mirror. It reflects how you moved through every earlier stage. Your presence, your pace, your restraint, your emotional control. You didn't earn it through effort. You allowed it through discipline. And here's the deeper lesson. If you become the kind of man who creates safety and calm consistently, you don't need to hunt for signals. They show up on their own. Touch stops being something you wonder about and starts being something that unfolds naturally. That's why this matters. Not because of what it leads to, but because of what it confirms. It confirms that attraction was never about taking space from her. It was about holding your own space well enough that she chose to step into it. When you understand that, you stop chasing moments and you start becoming the man those moments happen around. Folks, let's close this out. Today you learned why touch is never just physical. You saw how permission, trust, proximity, and restraint build layer by layer, and why one specific kind of touch only appears after a woman feels safe, relaxed, and genuinely drawn to you. This video wasn't about moves, it was about understanding how attraction actually unfolds through psychology, not force. If you want to go deeper and develop this level of awareness, self-control, and masculine steadiness in real life, I invite you to join the channel membership. That's where we break these dynamics down even further and train them properly. And if this content helps you see women and attraction more clearly, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what's coming next. Thank you for spending your time with me today. I appreciate you, and I'll see you tomorrow.